All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our Collaboration with Teams webinar. This is our second installment of our Productivity Thursdays. Thanks for joining us. If you're new, our Productivity Thursdays are a monthly webcast that we host that just goes over some common topics that are happening with the Microsoft platform. So today we're going to talk about Microsoft Teams. I'm Erin from Marquee 360, and I'm going to give you a little intro into what we're talking about today and a little information about our company. So this webinar, like I said, is our Collaboration with Teams webinar. In 2 weeks, we're going to have our Reporting with Project Dashboards webinar and Resource Management and Time Tracking in December. So any of these webinars that you guys want to join, head over to our Eventbrite page or even our website, and you'll find these under events and sign up for our next ones too. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information about our company. So Marquee 360 is a gold Microsoft partner for project and portfolio management and cloud productivity. We work in the Microsoft platform and partner ecosystem. A lot of our team members have been in this space for a long time, most of their careers, so we have a lot of experience. We focus on digital transformation and automating processes for our clients, utilizing the Microsoft 365 platform. We really strive to work as a trusted advisor for our clients from start to finish with their implementation. So what solutions would be best for you, and then implementing those, and then helping you with support, adoption, change management. We really like to make sure our customers succeed, and we like to be a part of that post-implementation process. So like I said, I'm Erin, and I have on the call with me Deepika Gandhi. She's our customer success manager, and she's going to talk to you guys a little bit today about why we're on the call, what's going on with Microsoft Teams, and how it collaborates with the other solutions on the Microsoft 365 platform, and why it's important. Mia Reed is on with us. She's a solutions architect, and she's going to go through the technical demo and show you all the cool stuff that you can do with Teams and how it integrates with all the other solutions. So this slide just shows you how much of a broad focus we have on the Microsoft 365 platform of the solutions that we like to work in to create better collaboration and a seamless experience for our clients. So our services include consulting services, support, and workshops. We also run trainings as well. If you go to our website, you can check those out, a little bit more information about each. And we also offer prepackaged solutions for the Microsoft platform. And these solutions are to extend the capabilities of the platform and also just integrate them a little bit better, make them more seamless, and get your end users that really great UI experience so that you can get the most out of your Microsoft investments. Before I hand it off, I'm going to have Deepika talk towards why we're talking about collaboration with Teams. So Deepika, if you want to take that.
Awesome. Thanks, Erin. Hi, everyone. I was in charge of admitting people into Teams, and I noticed a lot of our existing customers are on, and then some old colleagues, Mike, Jen, nice to see you all here as well, and some potential customers too. So thank you all for joining. As Erin said, I just wanted to lay the foundation here in terms of what you're going to see today with Mia when she starts the demo. And just as a Microsoft partner, we focus on various things, like Erin mentioned, the Power Platform, Microsoft Project Platform, and then Teams. During this demo today, we're going to kind of show you how we bring all those different technologies together. So within the Project Platform, there are various ways to collaborate on projects. There's Microsoft Planner, there's Microsoft Project Online, which hopefully some of you are familiar with. And then there's DevOps for development projects. And then there's Project for the Web, which is the newest project technology by Microsoft. So that's on the project management side. And then on the collaboration side, mostly everyone today is familiar with Teams, thanks to COVID. A lot of our customers have accelerated Teams deployment. And so what we're doing at Marquee 360 is we're constantly innovating to help you work on your projects in a more seamless manner. So we're integrating the whole project platform with Microsoft Teams. So you can use project more for the task management, project management pieces, and then you can use Microsoft Teams for the additional communication and collaboration. And the way we do this is using the Power Platform, which is where Erin was mentioning we really do leverage the Microsoft technology. So we kind of connect the two using Power Automate and Power Apps. And then we report on everything that you work on the Project Online platform and on Project for the Web using Power BI. So I just used a ton of technology names, but you'll kind of see it all come together in the demo. And the whole idea really is to boost collaboration and productivity for your project teams and just give them one single platform to work on. So just want to lay the foundation on how this came about, and what you're about to see is something we built at Marquee 360 as one of the pre-configured solutions. So as you go through the demo, you have questions or want to experience a part of the application, just ping us as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Mia, but I just wanted to mention that as you see the demo and you have questions, just you can IM me and I can bring those up towards the end of the call. Mia, do you prefer that or during the demo?
Either way, if there's a question that an area that we're looking at that time, I think it's okay if we squeeze it in.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start sharing. Welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to focus on the collaboration between Project Online and Teams in the beginning, and then we'll shift over and start to look more at Project on the Web and how it can, how we can use that to collaborate with Microsoft Teams. So in our first session of Productivity Thursday, we went through the process of creating a proposal and creating a project from that. What we're going to do starting out is play the role of a project manager and create a project, and then sync that project and certain tasks on that project with Microsoft Teams. So because the first Productivity Thursdays meeting was used to overview proposals, I'm going to start out today by going over to the Project Center and creating a project from there. So I'm in the Project Center. We have a list of all of the projects that are already in the system. I'm going to go ahead and add a new project. So a couple of things here, we'll see that there are a few projects that we can, or there are a few fields that have this little red asterisk indicated that they're required. We also have a couple of status fields right here on this main page, so I'm going to just quickly make an update there. But one of the most important fields on this page is this one, the Microsoft Teams and Planner integration field. Here you can select whether or not we want to sync this project with Microsoft Teams and Planner or not. So you've got the option to sync certain projects, and then later on we'll see that we have an option to sync certain tasks as well. So sometimes what we'll see is that during the project lifecycle, during the initiating phase, sometimes people might want to sync those initiating tasks with Teams and Planner. And then during the planning phase, they might want to sync different tasks. So we have the ability to do that. Now that the project is created, you'll see on the project detail page, we still do have this Microsoft Teams and Planner integration field. So if I created the project and this was set to no, I do have the option to change that later on. So most of what we're going to do to sync this project with Teams and Planner is going to happen on the schedule. So I'm going to build out a very short and simple schedule. But before I can actually assign any resources to tasks, I need to first build a project team. So I'm going to quickly go to the project ribbon and build a project team. So I'm just going to select a few people to add. So once I add these people to my project team, then I'll be able to assign them to tasks. And this will be important because these people that are assigned to these tasks will get added to my Microsoft team, and then they'll also be able to update their planner tasks in Teams and/or Planner. So this is saving. Once this finishes, I'll go over to the schedule. I'm just going to add a couple of tasks for us today, and then we'll be able to see how those tasks appear in Teams, and also we'll take a quick look at Planner as well. All right, so notice that we've got a couple of different columns here. What I'm going to do is walk you through the columns that we need to have set up in order to sync with Teams and Planner. So the first thing that we'll need to do is assign a resource to a task that we want to sync. I'm going to use a little shortcut here to assign that person to multiple tasks. And then I'll make a few other assignments as well. The next thing that we need to do after we assign resources to the tasks is select which task we want to sync with Planner. So there's a Planner sync column here, and we've got two options, yes and no. I'm going to select yes to sync these tasks. And then the last thing that we need to do on our schedule is select which Planner bucket we're going to sync with. When we go over to Planner, we'll see that each one of these tasks will be displayed in one of these buckets. And we've got these different views that we can look at there. So I'll be sure to show you that. All right, so we've got resources assigned to tasks. We've selected all of these tasks to sync with Teams and Planner, and then we've also assigned a bucket to each one of these. The next thing I'll do is publish. And clicking publish is actually what kicks off that sync between Teams and Planner and Project Online. So now as we speak, these tasks are getting set up in Teams and Planner. Before we head over to Teams, there is one quick thing I wanted to show you here. We all know, or most of us should probably know, that in our projects, we have a project site where we can collect our project documentation. We can also log issues and risks there as well. I just want to take a quick moment to show these options because we have corresponding tabs in Teams to go with documents, issues, and risks. You'll see the schedule there as well. So I'm going to quickly upload a document here. And the reason I want to show this is because we're able to interact with these different project artifacts either in the browser if that's convenient, or if we're already in Teams and making project updates, we could make those updates there too. So I'm going to go ahead and close this project and check it in. So we've updated our project details here. We set up a quick and easy schedule, and we synced some tasks with Teams. The next thing we'll do is actually go over to Teams and take a look there. So I'm using the web version of Teams for this. Usually we use the desktop version, but I'm using the desktop version for the project for the web integration that we're going to look at later on. So when Teams opens, I'll see a couple of things right away. There's this menu on the left, and one thing that I'm seeing here on the activity section, I'm seeing that I was added to a team. So this is the project that we created a few minutes ago together, a project demo. Now I see that I was added to that team. So I've received that notification, and this is one way that you would know that you are assigned to this project and will have tasks coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about some of these other items on the left in a little bit, but right now I'd like to go over to Teams and start to look at that team that we set up. So the section here for teams includes a list of the teams that I belong to. And we can see that there's a team now for this A project demo project that we just created. And notice also that a channel is created along with that. So if we look at this channel, there are a couple things that we'll see. First, as the owner of this channel and the owner of the project, I do have the option to add more people. If there were people outside of my project team that I wanted to include, I could do that. Notice that we've got these tabs along the top. We will take a little while to go through these more. The post tab is really interesting because when we talk about collaboration, this is one of the most important parts of having this team set up. Using this post tab, we're able to get project updates and also keep in touch with our team. So when the project was published, this mini project status report uh, became displayed here on this post tab. So anytime the project manager publishes their schedule, they'll see this mini project status report. So the status indicators that I updated when we created the project are here. We can see the current start finish date and the percentage of completion. And then for people with Power BI, there's an option here to click this to open up the full project status report there. Another part of this, in addition to being able to kind of passively view project information, I can also actively interact with my team. At the bottom, you see there's a button to start a new conversation. So one of the things I could do here is I could mention people on the team. So I can mention Adele to get her attention. And then I could also mention the team in general. So the A project demo team is there. Along the bottom, there are a couple of other options that I can use as well. So the first one is that I can format this. This gives you an option to format this similar to an email that you would send out. There's also an option to add an attachment. Um, it's still kind of setting up the team, but I'll be able to come back here and add an attachment that I want to share with the team. I think this will be a good one for sharing. So that'll upload that attachment here. And then I can also insert emojis or GIFs or stickers. There's a link here or a way to add a link to a stream recording. And then also, as we're working on our project team, if somebody's been particularly helpful or if we want to give praise to someone, there's a little praise button there, which is nice too. I'm going to go ahead and send this message. And for all of these items that are sent or received, notice that you've got the option to react. So if there's something that you want to kind of give a thumbs up on, you can do that. Another really nice thing that I can do that involves this post tab is that there's an email address created for this team. So if I click the ellipses here for the channel, I can get the channel's email address. So from here, I can copy this. I already have an email drafted that we can use. So I'm just going to send this to the team that we're working with. There's an attachment here as well. And part of what I'm doing here with these attachments is making sure to include them for the team overall. Anybody on the team that comes to this post tab will see these attachments, but they're also saved along with the team. And I think we've all been in situations where somebody's shared a file over email, and then maybe a month later, we're going back and digging through our emails trying to find that file. Some people received it, some people didn't. By using this feature to share these attachments, we're able to store these in Teams and access them later on. All right, so there's the email that I just drafted and sent over. We've got our conversation we started. We've got our mini status report. One of the other interesting things that we can track on this post tab are meetings. So I'll show you this in a little bit more detail, but I want to give you a quick peek at it now. If I click on this to schedule a meeting, notice that their channel for this project is displaying here. So I'm going to quickly just update this. I'll add an attendee. Setting up meetings in this way is a lot like setting up meetings in Outlook. So I can set up a recurrence pattern if I want to. Note the team is tagged here. I can select another team as well if I needed to. And then just enter in a quick detail, and then I'll send this. This meeting invitation is going to show up on this post tab as well. So it's already here. I can click on this to see more information about the meeting. I can join the meeting using that link. And then the other thing that is especially helpful is that if we're in this meeting and then we record it, the recording will save to Microsoft Stream, but the recording link will be available on this post tab. So anybody that couldn't make it to the meeting will be able to click a button here or a link here and get to that recording and catch up. So there's a lot that we can do just on this first tab. I'm going to click on the Files tab next. The files that we shared in that posts area are going to be stored here. So there's a folder for email messages. As we continue to email each other on this team, files will be added there. And then also the actual file that I attached on the post tab is displayed here as well. Wiki comes with every team, but I want to show you also the project documents. This is the same as the project documents that we looked at when we were in Project Web App. So notice that the file that I uploaded when we were in the browser displays here. There's an ellipses here, so I can open this in the app and edit it just like I would any other document. Then the helpful part of this is that other members of the team can open this in the app as well, and we can all collaborate. There will be a marker for anybody else that's logged in there, so I'll be able to see who else is logged in and where they are in the document. And that way we don't have to worry about overlapping our efforts on that document. So issues, I didn't create an issue when we were in the browser, but if I had, it would be displayed here. So you've got a choice on whether you update this in the browser or in Teams. Risks is very similar. This risk page is going to give me the option to create a new item, and then I can update that here or in PWA. I also have access to the schedule, and the permissions that you have in Project Web App or Project Online also apply here. So as a project manager, I can go ahead and edit this project and make updates if I need to. And then the last thing I want to show you, the last tab, is the Planner tab. I think we could use a little bit more space here, so I'm going to expand this area. So now we're seeing those different buckets that we added tasks to, and we're seeing the tasks that I added from the project schedule. So notice that the different buckets that I selected on the schedule are displaying the tasks as I specified. So from here, anybody on our team that needs to update a task, they can click on this card and make a few updates. Notice that, that we can add notes here. We can also create a checklist. So
Hey,
if
Maya.
there,
Sorry, can I interrupt for 1 second?
of
Do
course.
you mind showing us how you collapse the ribbon again
Oh,
to make some more
sure,
space?
sure.
Thank you.
So I'll click out of here to leave the card, and we can see the little sub steps are here. Along this top banner here, there are a couple of other interesting options too, but there's this option here where you can choose to either collapse this main content area or you can expand it. So if you're like me and you need a little bit more room to work on things and view everything, this can be really helpful. You just need to remember that you collapsed it when you want to get the side menu back. And while we're
Thanks, Maya.
here, sure. While we're here, there's also a place to start a conversation. So if I want to check in with the team, oops, I can do that here. And then this is a toggle, right? Just like the other one, so I can just hide that if I need to. But this is a way to kind of get everybody notified that we're expecting some task updates. So we've got these tasks here. We can click on the cards to make updates. Right now we're viewing these tasks grouped by bucket. There are times in your project lifecycle where that might be helpful. There are other times, and when people are updating their tasks, they might want to focus in on the tasks assigned to them. So there's another way to group by assigned to. And now this is especially great, I think, for project meetings. If we're meeting with the team and we're kind of walking through who's doing what, this is a great way to just stop and say, hey, Maud, what have you worked on? And then as we, they give their update that they finished these subtasks and maybe even completed the entire task, we can mark that here. Notice that the completed one kind of leaves your view so you can focus on the remaining work. Another nice way to group is by progress. So here we can see which tasks are not started. We can see what's in progress, and then we can see also the completed tasks. In addition to having these different ways to group our tasks, there's also a filter. So if I wanted to filter by the late task to make sure that we're working on those, I could do that. Same with tasks due today or tomorrow or this week. So we can set these different filters here, and you've got a lot of different options. So if I just wanted to see tasks assigned to myself, I could just choose my name here. So we've got different ways to group these tasks, different way to filter them. And then there are also different views. Right now we're on the board view. So we're looking at our task board and we can quickly kind of click on these to update them. There's also a list view. So now this list view is just showing us the remaining tasks, but I can click on this to mark a task as completed. There's also a charts view. And this gives you kind of some statistics about the tasks on your project. So if we wanted to see which tasks are falling in which buckets, we could do that. If we wanted to group these by priority, we can do that too. And then this is also nice. We can look at our schedule. So we've got this calendar view, and then we can see all of the different or where these tasks fall on the calendar. So sometimes this helps to visualize things and make sure that we get a quick bird's eye view of these tasks and where they fall. All right. Any questions about this area?
Mia, there was one question, and maybe it was the one that Erin asked, but um, the question was, how do you remove an item or conversation within Teams?
So are we talking about
Posts.
an area in the posts? So a lot of places in Teams, you'll see this little ellipses if you click on something. So if I click here, I'll be able to leave the team as a member of this team. If I click this ellipses, I'll be able to delete this. So when you get into Teams, one thing that I think is a great way to start out is to click on these different ellipses buttons and see what options you have, because there are a lot of interesting ones. And Deepika and Erin, I'll trust you to jump in when there's a question, because I don't I don't have that on my screen now to see when there's a question popping up.
No problem.
Thanks. All right, so we've looked at this Teams area here. While we're here, I did want to point out some of the other sections in Teams. So first one is this search. I think this search it's a little bit, it's like other searches in a way, but it's also got some nice features. So one of the things that you can do here is you can just type in something to search. So if I want to search for Adele, a user, I can find her here. One of the other things you can do is type in this slash, and then you get this nice little cheat sheet of things that you can quickly kind of do. One thing you could do is set your status using this. So it's automatically changing me to be right back. We definitely don't want this for this call, so I'm going to make myself available again. We'll see that pop up. But it's kind of fun to play with some of the options you have here. There's a section with files, so if you wanted to see your recent files, you could do that. There's a way to find here. You can go to help, which is going to open up your help area here. So there's a lot you can do with this search. So if you were talking with somebody and something got mentioned and you need to find that, this is a great place to look. I'm going to go over to the left area. So on the activity feed, we saw earlier that when I was added to this team, I got this little notification here. You can also filter if there's a team that you know that you were working on. I can kind of search for that notification there and quickly get to that team and see more of the items that were listed here. There's a chat feature, of course, and here it's nice that you can chat with people. You can filter this if you do have a lot of chats that you've been in. And then you can also start a new chat from here, of course. One interesting thing here, I think with Anna, I shared a file while we were talking back and forth. And if this is a file that Anna and I are collaborating on, and maybe not necessarily the entire team yet, sharing this file through here, we now have this file menu here in this conversation where I can get to this document and access that anytime I'd like. So again, this is another way or another alternative to sharing files over email, which isn't always, the nicest way to share things. So we looked at Teams earlier. There are a couple of other things you should know about the Teams section here. One is that you can drag and drop these to get these in a certain order. So this project here, a project demo, if I want this to display near the top and have these in alphabetical order, I can just drag and drop this project to display in a different order. Another thing that happens is as you're working on teams, if there starts to be a team that you're not working on as much or you need to kind of clean up your view a little bit, one of the options you have is to use this ellipses button and then hide that project. Okay. And then when you hide a project, you'll see that there's a hidden teams section here. I'm going to expand that just so you can see I've hidden a lot of teams down here just to get those out of my view, and then you can collapse this. That way, if I ever need to come back to that team for something, it's still there and I can access it, but it's not taking up space in my view. With these teams, you can also create additional channels. So we saw with it was this one, a project demo. We saw that the general project was created automatically. You can also add other channels to your teams. And sometimes that helps to keep different work streams separated. So you can see this channel, this team, for example, has multiple channels associated with it. And then on the calendar, we took a peek at this before, but one thing that I really like about this calendar is that it's essentially my Outlook calendar showing here. So we looked earlier at being able to create a new meeting, and creating a new meeting, you can do very similarly to how you schedule a meeting in Outlook. So you can set your required attendees or optional attendees. I'm just going to put a name in here as a placeholder. I can set a date and time, or I can make this all day. I can set a recurrence pattern just like we do in Outlook. But then, of course, we've got this added benefit of being able to add a channel here. All right, and that'll let everybody know that this meeting is out there and give them a chance to join and or view the recording if they can't make it. And then there's also the scheduling assistant. So that's an important part of scheduling in Outlook, right? It's nice that we have those same capabilities here. If I need to change the time zone, I can do all of that. So it's a slightly different look and feel than your Outlook calendar, but you have all of the same options here. I'm going to discard that one because I already sent a meeting invite there. And then, of course, there's calls. There's a place for files. So if I wanted to go back through the different files that I've looked at, I can see what I've stored here. One other thing I want to show you while we're here is that you can also add other apps here. One that's really popular to add is Planner. And I've been doing this a lot lately because what this allows you to do is a couple of different cool things. And I think we're going to have an upcoming session that's more related to Planner and everything you can do there. So I'm not going to go too far into this, but I can set tasks for myself. Um, and these are similar to those same Planner tasks that we saw in Teams. Okay, I can mark things off as completed. I can mark things as to do in Outlook and then have those tasks display here. So we can see that I was just showing the to do items here. And then the tasks that I'm assigned to in Planner, I might be a part of multiple different projects. So if I wanted to go through this a project demo project that we just created and finish my task here and then move on to my next project and update the task there, I have the option to do that all in one place in Planner, as well as create new tasks for myself. So those are some interesting options there. And then of course, there are different views and filters here as well. I think we're ready to switch over to start looking at the integration between Project for the Web and Microsoft Teams. Before I switch over to my other Teams environment, does anybody have any questions?
Mia, there was one question around notifications. So do the notifications show up the same way for planner tasks assigned? Like if you assign a task to me, like will I get notifications on that task?
Yes. So when we're assigning tasks using Project Online, kind of like what we did earlier in the schedule, some people use the option to have those Project Online notifications sent out, so that could possibly be sent out. And then in addition to that, Planner also has notifications that can be sent out. So anytime you get assigned to a task in Planner, you may get a notification. Those notifications are really great for some people because we need that to maybe have on our calendars or maybe save that as a to-do item. But for other people that kind of worry about getting email fatigue, one thing that you can do is you can actually open up the Planner app. So I'm going to just kind of look through here. And if I open up the Planner app, then in Planner, you have individual options to set your frequency for notifications. So there's a notifications area here. So I can choose whether or not I see a notification for anything that's assigned to me. And then also I can choose to get notified if things are late or due. So there's a little bit of differences with the notifications, right? Some people might get notifications on everything if they have those boxes checked like I just showed you, and then other people can choose if they don't want those notifications not to get them as much.
Awesome. There was one other question about can you add tasks to a channel from Teams?
Yes,
Okay.
that is a good question. I'm going to go back over to Planner. One of the things that we'll see here is the option to add a task. So in this view, we're in the board view and we're grouping by bucket. We do have this option to add a task. Now this task will live here in Teams and Planner, but it doesn't sync back over into Project Online. And that can be really useful because sometimes you have people that are using Project Online and updating those tasks there and you want to schedule. Sometimes you'll have, I think I had it on this one. Sometimes you'll have subtasks that you want to add here to track, but not necessarily in your project plan. And then for the tasks that you just want to keep in Planner, you can have those tasks that live here too.
So I think the question was more like, can you add the task in the other view, the task list view? It's the
Oh.
same thing, right?
Sorry, was that back in this area?
Erin, you wanna?
Sorry, this is Erin. It took me a second to find where the microphone was. I'm a little unfamiliar with Teams. So back here where there's this task list, and I might have missed it. You might have gone over it, but you know, I can envision myself using this task list and then realizing, oh, wait a minute, I need to add another task to whatever channel I'm working in at that moment in time. Did I miss that? Is that something you can do from here, I assume?
Yeah, so you can add tasks like that belong to a project. And this would be similar to that new planner task that I added in the other area, in that, you know, it'll display here, but it doesn't sync back over to Project
It
Online.
doesn't sync back. Okay, that's what I was trying. Sorry, that's what I was trying to understand. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Erin. And then there was another question about do you still need Outlook? Like for any of what you're showing us, do you need Outlook for any of this?
Do you mean, do you need Outlook in addition to this? I kind of use Outlook a lot as a companion to all of these. I use Teams a lot. I use Planner a lot. And for me, they kind of work really well together. Um, because of course I'm still going to use Outlook a lot for emails, but I also like to be able to include the team in that as well. I think earlier I like to share files in Teams and Planner more than I like to share them over email. But then also, to use that along with your this calendar, and I still use my Outlook calendar as well. Um, Being able to flag emails and things like that in Outlook and drag things in Outlook down to my to-do area so that they show here. I find all of those things helpful. I'm not sure if I answered your question or just said something else. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, sorry, this was me asking. So yeah, my question was, what can Outlook do that Teams can't? But what it is actually emails is the one thing that's different, right?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
major difference.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of combine these and use them together. But for the things I can use in Teams, I'm kind of doing that mostly here. And even these tasks, we could get those in Outlook, right? But the interface here is a lot friendlier.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Mia, there was one other question which we might need to follow up on separately because it's more of a Teams question. Can Teams be archived?
Let's see. Yeah, we might need to follow up on that. Right now, I typically will hide the team if I don't want to see it. You could also delete the team, but that's going to be different than archiving. So yeah, let's follow up with you on that one.
Thanks, Mia.
Sure. So let's go over and take a quick look at the project for the web integration with Microsoft Teams. So far, everything we've been looking at is in Project Online. We created our project in Project Online, synced it over with Teams and Planner, and we had a walkthrough of that. There is another version of that. And this is my desktop version of Teams. But here I do have a team that I was added to that comes from a project that was created in Project for the Web. So you'll see some similarities right away. The team and its setup is similar to what we just saw with the Project Online to Teams and Planner integration. Notice also we've got the Posts tab here. So we can converse and share documents the same way that we did in the Project Online to Teams integration. We've got files here, so the file that I shared in that posts area displays here too. Wiki, of course, is always there. The project details, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. The project details are here, and when we are using Project for the Web, this is a model-driven Power App that's set up. So you can see we can have our project summary and these values here. We also have tasks and action items. All of our project artifacts are here to get updated as well. And I believe we're going to have another session about Project for the Web, so we'll get to see more of that there. So we've got this area for the project details, and then there's also a task board. And this task board is set up very similar to what we saw earlier. But one of the things I want to show you here is that there is a couple different ways to view your tasks. So here with the grid option, it's really nice and easy because you can just click on something to mark it as completed. We can see the status and a couple of task updates. I don't think anybody else heard this, but I had a little ding in my ear once it was marked as completed. There's also, and then of course we can sort using these column headers here. So that helps sometimes if you want to focus on tasks assigned to you. There's the board view, which we saw when we first came in. So this is very similar to those planner buckets we saw, right? And we've got our tasks in these different areas. Notice here the same group options we had in Teams that we looked at earlier. We've got, so we can look at these by assigned to. I could also look at these by progress or grouped by progress. And then one other interesting thing that we've got in the project for the web integration with Teams is the ability to look at this timeline here. So in the project online to Teams integration, we had the project schedule there, and here we've got this timeline view. So we can look at these tasks, we can see how everything's linked together and get an idea of the dependencies. We can look at the durations and see who's assigned to what, and also get a feel for the progress. This is the task that I just marked as completed on the board view. All right, and then we can get some more data here about, who's on this group. We can start to, play with the dates that we're looking at in the Zoom. So there's some pretty nice options with the project for the web integration with Teams as well. While we're here, does anybody have any questions about the project for the web integration with Teams?
Not sure how many are familiar with Project for the Web. It's so new. So,
so true.
There is a question, which is actually a really good question. Thanks, Clint. Why would you use Project for the Web as opposed to Project Online?
Oh, Deepika, I think I'll let you take that one.
Okay. So Project for the Web is more of an enterprise project management solution. It includes, did I say Project for the Web? I mean, Project Online is more of an enterprise project management solution. It includes timesheets, resource management, portfolio management, the integration with Teams, a lot of Power BI reporting. It's truly for an enterprise PMO, while Project for the Web is essentially a step up to Planner. So it's a little bit better than Planner because it has some resource management, it has some reporting. Planner does not have a lot of reporting and resource management. The UI is a lot more modern. It's built on a different platform than Project Online. It's one of the new technologies for Microsoft. It's still developing. It's truly not a PMO tool as of yet, but it competes really well with Smartsheets, like some of the other lightweight task management platforms. So that is the key difference between the two.
Do you mind if I follow up with that question?
Sure.
So can an organization choose both and then from a portfolio perspective still do resource management?
Yes. So one of the previous Productivity Thursdays, we had a whole section on project intake. And the intake piece helps you to determine which way you want to go based on the project type. So if it's a marketing project, you might want to use Project for the Web. If it's a large IT, SAP integration project, you might want to use Project Online. And you can kind of do both and then bring it all together from a reporting perspective.
Oh, thank you. That's very helpful.
Same with Azure Devops as well. We have similar integration with Azure Devops. And in the intake, you can kind of define if it's a development project and you want to use Azure DevOps for that.
Okay. And that really does highlight that even though we're using different tools, we can still do resource management and resource allocation.
Absolutely. It's all one platform. Yes.
Thank you.
Mia, there was one other question about trials. The project online to Teams, do we provide any trials? Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, we certainly do provide trials so that you have a chance to kind of work through, your project lifecycle in one of our trial environments. And the trial environment we have set up is actually where I did the first part of this demo today, but it's set up with the proposals feature, portfolio analyses, project everything that you would want to do with projects. Our project work ready solutions, which include some reporting. Power BI is also included there. So it gives you a chance to kind of get a feel for how all of those things work together and start to envision how you would use your processes in a system like that. So the trial is one thing, and then after that, we would always kind of meet with you and talk about requirements and configuration and determine what is going to work best for you at the time.
Thank you. And we provide the licensing during the trial, right?
Oh yeah, one of the most important parts. We provide the licensing for that. So once we get a list of your users, I'm able to set you up with licenses and have actually, so in this trial environment, it's a whole kind of separate identity for the users that are participating. So you would have for that trial environment, like your own email and Outlook, and be able to see how email approvals, for example, work using Power Automate. You would be able to fully kind of immerse yourself in that trial environment.
Awesome. That was it.
And trials usually last around 2 weeks. We also do check-ins during trials so that you're not kind of left on your own during that 2-week period.
Thank you,
That's
Mia.
all I have demo-wise. Does anybody else have any questions?
I think that was it. Should we hand it back over to you, Erin?
Yes, if there's no more questions, I will take back over. Thanks, Mia.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for all those questions. That was great. Well, having some technical difficulties. I did put the survey link in the chat window. If any of you get a chance to fill that out, that'd be awesome. It just lets us know how we're doing with our Productivity Thursdays, which topics are meaningful, which ones, maybe aren't as much. So any feedback you guys give us, that'll help us build out the topics for our next upcoming webinars. Also, if you guys have any questions, I know we had a lot during the demo, but feel free to reach out to our team. Our website, you can fill out a form and submit a question. We're always happy to answer anything you guys might be thinking about. Also, we will be sending out the recording to this webinar. We'll send you a recording and a link to the survey just in case you didn't get a chance to fill it out before we end here. And our next upcoming webinar is reporting and dashboards on the 19th. So we hope to see you again. Thank you.
Awesome. I did
Thanks,
post our
everybody.
emails just in case anyone wants to. Any questions? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.